Good afternoon. The government deploys ships to the Scarborough Shoal due to recent harassment cases of China Coast Guard personnel against Filipino fishers. National Security Advisor Eduardo Años says that PCG ship BRP Teresa Magbanwa and BFAR vessel BRP Datu Tamblot patrolled the vicinity of Scarborough Shoal, also known as Bajo de Masinloc, from February 1 to 9 to ensure safety and security of Filipino fishermen. Anyo notes that to date, Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources says BRP Datu Tamblot still remains within the vicinity of the sandbank. Scarborough Shoal is a traditional fishing ground that should be shared with neighboring countries such as China and Vietnam, according to a 2016 arbitral tribunal ruling. But on January 12, fisher Jack Tabat witnessed that the Chinese Coast Guard personnel forced Filipino fishers to throw shells they already gathered back to the sea before being driven away. The fishers were gathering seashells in the vicinity of the south entrance of the shoal during low tide when the incident occurred. The government admitted that there was no presence of PCG and BFAR vessels when the incident occurred, but vowed to increase their presence from then on. The consortium led by San Miguel Corporation wins the bidding for the 170.6 billion peso Ninoy Aquino International Airport Rehabilitation Project. The SMC SAP and Company Consortium was the front-runner in the race for the highly coveted project as it proposed an 82.16% revenue share with the government, more than double than what was offered by its two competitors. In a press briefing, Transportation Undersecretary Timothy John Batan says that the entire project development process for this public-private partnership only took about 12 months. Meanwhile, Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista says that after the issuance of the Notice of Award to SMC, SAP and Company Consortium, a contract signing for the big-ticket infrastructure project will be scheduled next month. The SMC, SAP and Company Consortium beat the GMR Consortium, which proposed a share of 33.3%, and the Manila International Airport Consortium, which proposed a share of 25.91%. The Naia upgrade project includes the rehabilitation of passenger terminals and airside facilities such as runway, aircraft parking area, and airfield lighting, and the provision of facilities that will enable intermodal transfers at the terminal. The SMC, SAP and Company Consortium will have a 15-year concession period to implement the project, which can be extended by 10 years if needed. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri says he will sign a subpoena for religious leader and alleged sex offender Apollo Quiboloy when he returns from a trip to the Visayas. In a statement, Zubiri says that the issuance of the subpoena for Pastor Apollo Quiboloy has been prepared and will be signed by him upon his return from Visayas. Zubiri's assurance came a day after Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros pressed the Senate leadership to summon and not just invite Quiboloy. Zubiri explained that a lot of administrative work has piled up in his office following the supposed rift between the House and the Senate over the controversial signature drive for charter change. Senator Risa Hontiveros says criminal charges may be filed against leaders of People's Initiative for Modernization and Reform Action, or Pirma, if they continue to hide identities of donors who helped to bankroll the controversial EDSA Puersa advertisement. In a statement, Hontiveros says Pirma's continued refusal to disclose the names of its donors falls under the crime of disobedience to summons issued by Congress, its committees or subcommittees under the Article 150 of the Revised Penal Code. According to Hontiveros, the crime warrants a penalty of up to 6 months imprisonment or a fine ranging from 40,000 pesos to 200,000 pesos. But apart from criminal charges, the opposition senator says Pirma lead convener Noel Oñate, along with other Pirma leaders, could also be cited for contempt if they continue to disobey the chamber's orders. The Senate Panel on Electoral Reforms and People's Participation earlier issued a subpoena against Pirma, ordering Oñate to disclose the names of donors who helped pay for the 55 million peso worth EDSA Puersa commercial. However, despite the repeated warnings, Pirma has yet to provide names, saying the donors have chosen to invoke their right to privacy and asked Oñate not to publicize their identities. A lawmaker files 2 bills that aim to provide heartbreak and wellness leaves for single employees in the country. In proposing the measure, Cagayan de Oro 1st District Representative Lordan Swan stressed the importance of giving singles a break from the social pressures that come with being unmarried or without a partner. Swan's House Bill number 9932, or the proposed Singles Wellbeing Leave Act, seeks to give single employees in the public and private sector an unpaid leave on February 15, a day after Valentine's Day. In the explanatory note, Swan says that while Valentine's Day celebrates love and affection, it can be a source of pressure, loneliness, and commercialized reminders of relationship status for single employees. Under the proposal, employees can be allowed to avail of the leave through a written request to their immediate supervisor at least 48 hours before the date of leave. Meanwhile, Swan's House Bill number 9931, or the proposed Heartbreak Recovery and Resilience Act, suggests a one-day unpaid leave after a heartbreak for employees below 25 years old, 2 days unpaid leave for those between 25 to 35 years old, and 3 days unpaid leave for workers 36 years old and above. Swan noted that to qualify for a heartbreak leave, employees must provide their employer with a signed statement confirming the dissolution of their romantic relationship within the past 30 days. Both proposed measures task the Department of Labor and Employment and Civil Service Commission to develop guidelines and implement confidential emotional support programs within workplaces. Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Philippine government deploys ships to the Scarborough Shoal due to recent harassment cases of Chinese Coast Guard personnel against Filipino fishers. Consortium led by San Miguel Corporation wins the bidding for the 170.6 billion peso Ninoy Aquino International Airport rehabilitation project. And Solon files bills that aim to provide heartbreak and wellness leaves for single employees. These are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.